Aquarius Sun and Rising. Welcome to a video looking at the transits of Saturn in Pisces and Pluto in your sign of Aquarius that are starting in March of 2023. So, usually I've been starting with Saturn, but I'm going to start with Pluto, given that it's going into your sign. So, Aquarians, and I'm including the ascendants with this with that label, you have had Saturn in your sign for the past few years. And now you're going to have Pluto go there. And it's kind of like funny because in Vedic astrology, both of these planets are called malefics, meaning that, or I don't know much about Vedic astrology that I understand why they do what they do, but I'm assuming it's because they consider the influences of both of these planets to be very tough. And I would agree with them. However, mal means bad. You know, in Spanish, malo means bad. So that's where I part ways with it, because you cannot say that Saturn is a bad planet with bad influences, even though it may, pan out that way sometimes or seem that way. Saturn is about order. It's about foundations. So how can foundations be a bad thing? It can only be a bad thing if someone is so undisciplined that it feels, very overwhelming to have that kind of influence that demands of them that they get their life in order. And the interesting thing about you, Aquarius, is that the sign of Aquarius, we always, think about Uranus as the ruler, but so is Saturn. Saturn is also your ruler. And, Saturn is a ruler of Capricorn, and what that represents is so much more as in alignment with Capricorn, the typical Capricorn person. Because, discipline, order. Uranus is all about unpredictability and things like that. And so Aquarius people may resonate with that rather than that kind of like button-down influence of Saturn, which is very traditional and can be very rigid in how it does things. Uranus is very progressive and very chaotic, I would say. Definitely rebellious. So you have probably in one way, shape, or form with Saturn in this first house have had to deal with some kind of limitations placed upon you. This could be in your professional life, but it could be in your private life as well. Maybe both for some people. And it's kind of interesting with Aquarius, because even though you are rebellious and you don't want to conform to other people's expectations, you're a fixed sign. So there's a part of you that might have welcomed Saturn's influence, surprisingly enough, because maybe you know yourself too well, and that you may have a tendency to be like that contrarian and take it to the extent where you do cut off your nose to spite your face, because you're doing it just for the sake of rebelling and not necessarily for your highest good. So I actually think since I've been talking so much about Saturn, I'm just going to continue talking about its influence when it goes into Pisces, which is going to be on March 7th of 2023. Now, it goes without saying that this is a general reading. Where your the degree of your second cusp, what it's going to be is going to differ from Aquarius individual to Aquarius individual. So it may be next year that it enters your second house. It might not even be this year. So, because Pisces is only going up to about, I think, 7 degrees of I said Pisces. Saturn is only going up to about 7 degrees of Pisces in 2023. So there you go. Some of you, it's not going to actually go into your second house. But for those who it does, this can be a time when you are getting your money game in order. And you might be kind of planting new seeds, new income streams that are going to reward you for years to come. Obviously, it goes without saying that just your general finances, you may have to get them sorted out. Those of you who have a tendency to be kind of disorganized about your money may find, I think that this can always be true with any transit, that something happens that forces it upon you if you do not take the initiative yourself, because it wants you to learn that lesson. Saturn can be about restrictions, and so you may find that you can't freely spend money for some reason. Maybe it wants you to get used to living on less. This is supposed to be the money that you earn, the second house, but just in general, I would just look at it as the overall money house. The eighth house can be shared resources, and that can include your partner, your spouse, and let's say that they get laid off or they retire, and they have their money situation changes. Well, by virtue of that, your money situation changes. And all of these things, people get very nervous about that, but there is an upside, because it can force a person's hand and realize that they have to do something about their situation, not from a fear-based perspective, but from a grounded perspective. And that is another thing, is that this can actually help you immensely, because Saturn helps to crystallize things. If you have a brilliant idea, and Aquarians are inventors, maybe you have an idea for an invention, and you really want to bring it out into the world, this can be the perfect time, because you know what? You can have the most brilliant idea, but if you don't manifest it on the physical level, it's just a brilliant idea. And, this could set you up for the rest of your life, whatever this is, whatever this idea is. And so this is all about getting your material resources sorted out. Maybe it means that you create a budget for yourself, and that you actually enjoy living with that budget, because you feel not a sense of deprivation, but like you have this foundation, and it makes you feel more secure. Now let's talk about Pluto. Pluto going into your first house, into your sign. And I think Pluto is going to be here until, did they say 20? I think it's like 2044 or something like that, but it's going to be for 20 years. So I don't know if it's 2043 or 2044. But Pluto is a transformation agent. So suffice it to say, when it goes into your sign, get ready for you to be transformed. In 20 years, you may look back at your 2023 self and say, whoa, who is that person? Now, obviously, any of us could say that even without a Pluto transit through our first house, just by virtue of 20 years down the road, obviously, we're going to look back and see a whole different person. But this can be really different. Not just a little bit different, but really different. And when we talk about difference, it could be everything from your physical appearance to the way, your way of life, the way that you live life itself, or your attitudes towards life, the way you think about life. It could be the way you do life or the way you think about life. The first house has to be looked at as a general influence. So with Pluto here, it's like your life is in the process of changing on a micro level. This could be your body, and you may be looking to radically overhaul your appearance in some way. So whether you're doing this through diet, through exercise, maybe some people would do it through plastic surgery. Again, I'm not, trying to make that seem like that would be a good thing, but I'm just talking about the reality of the situation. It might be that. But you may just be feeling like something has to be reformed. This can be very transformational as it pertains to how you carry yourself, because that can be the first house. So if you're shy, I was going to say if you're a Virgo, I don't want to pick on Virgo, but or if you have Virgo rising and you tend to be rather inhibited, self-conscious, you may find that you are a lot bolder. But it's not like when Mars is in the first house and the person is just cocky or aggressive or, downright bossy. It can be something where you just have this aura of invincibility and of power. You're not trying to beat somebody over the head with it. You're just walking a certain way that lets people know that, you are fully empowered. And of course, when I say things like fully empowered, that would have to be over time if there are some things that you need to transform in your life. So I'm not trying to make it like it's just this quick fix. But certainly it could be something that you gradually, it takes kind of root in your life and you become possibly more and more enthusiastic about it. And you start to really want to do this thing. And maybe you implement it a little at a time and then it makes it easier to change. So it's a very profound, I think it's a very profound transit. And then you have on the material level with Saturn in the second house, you have the strictness applied to that area as well. And so that may even be with that combination, somebody who wants to transform their body. The second house can be food, and with Saturn, it could be that you're Maybe you're doing intermittent fasting, or you're just really watching what you eat, and you're just exerting discipline over the food you put into your mouth. And then with the first house, it's just that desire to transform your body from the inside out. So you're not doing anything superficially. You know that it takes getting at the heart of the issue to begin with, and then implementing your strategies. So I'm going to leave it there. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, the link is below. Take care. Bye.